Hey everyone, happy Monday, happy New Year's Eve. It's not quite New Year's Eve, that's tomorrow. We're going to officially roll the intro in just a little bit. There will be a bunch of people coming in, rolling out during the course of this fun little show. But in the meantime, I'm joined by the wonderful Marina and Mikhail. How's it going, guys?
Hey guys, it's going good. It's really good, going good.
Yeah. What a year, huh?
Yeah. It's been really. It was quite a good year. So yeah, a lot of thing has been done. The platform finally live. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
And I have to say, I do check the Platform Explorer that you built just about every day to
Mm-hmm.
see what's new on there. And yeah, it's very fun to see just how far things have come. But we're at 20 almost 25,000 total transactions. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. And also the platform explorer itself, like have a lot of visits right now. I checked recently. It was about 600 k requests each month. So yeah, we're getting pretty good with it. And yeah, our team we grew our team a little bit. So yeah, now all the guys are busy and we are doing stuff like yeah, it's going pretty much good.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's been a crazy kind of year of growth if we think about it because of just how many of us in our projects things weren't even there a year ago,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What year and month did you officially start with, say, the incubator? Any of those?
um I started in incubator, I think in 2022, early
Mm-hmm.
2023. Yeah. So initially I was working with the different, not with Ryan itself, but with the different strategies. I was just making some dashmate tasks. Yeah, but then yeah, I started working with it more and more, and yeah, right now like we have independent DVR as as a result of my work in the incubator, trying stuff, exploring things, like
Mm-hmm.
trying the learning the technology, all the underlying things, and trying to manage some people around me. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's going.
yeah, that's for sure. And I can like personally say, I mean, this has been a crazy year as well for us. I didn't start doing the whole dash growth thing, biz dev marketing, all that stuff until you know almost exactly a year ago, and been a lot of fun working with Marina the whole time. What you mentioned, Mikhail, about the whole management thing is, I've one thing I really have to work on a lot better is management. I've been for so many years someone who's a kind of a lone wolf, like I just sort of do things on my own, and um, haven't not gotten as good at that. And so the thing that I'm personally very grateful for is that Marina can be trusted to be an adult, you know, which a lot of people, you have to micromanage, and just say, no, you're doing it wrong. Well, what's wrong with this? Or then they just like don't work. And then, you don't, you have to constantly watch them. And so
Hmm.
I don't think I would have been if it was someone other than Marina who wasn't, who's more like that, I think we would not be in as good a position. But so it really helps out. So that's very good to know. It's been very good for us.
Yeah. I also like I enjoy this management stuff. Previously, I was
Mm-hmm.
only like doing. I was previously just developing. Right now, I'm doing more management, so it's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Hold on. The Andreas just posted in the CrowdNode channel that as of right now, CrowdNode has officially submitted its Mika license application.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I feel two ways about that. The one is shouldn't have to do a license, but the other thing is, yay, good for them. That's a lot of work. They're gonna be okay. Um, so yeah, that's fun. Dealing with lawyers has been an interesting thing this year. Chatting with lawyers about different things regarding regulation, regarding our ability to advertise, all that kind of stuff has been interesting. Uh, yeah. And Marina, by the way, you're muted. I don't know if that was intentional. Just want to make sure. If you're talking to someone else, that's fine. Anyway, so yeah, this is probably going almost 10 minutes. It's probably a good time to get this thing started officially before a bunch of other crazy hoodlums join. So, all right, let me hit the intro. 3, 2, 1, go. So, hey everyone, officially, happy Monday. Should be Friday, but it's Monday this time. Welcome to the Dash Podcast. This is an unnumbered episode, but somewhere in the 200s, and it's the New Year's Eve special for 2024, 2025, the end of the year. Welcome everyone. Good to have you. I'm joined by, as I mentioned earlier, Marina, who works with me, and Mikhail, who works on his own project in the Dash Incubator, does a lot of development work, like the most famous, I would say, the Platform Explorer. So, good to have you guys. We have a few other people rolling in at some point. But, yeah, we just, no formal agenda behind the show, just reflect on things. And we already started to reflect. It's been a good year. What do you think... if is there one thing in particular you're most happy or proud about that happened in the last year?
Yeah, my DPO, as we started working as an independent DPO, and we
Mm-hmm.
kind of we increased. The people are working for the Dash in our team rapidly increased to like five, six people, and yeah, there is much more things that we are building. The Platform Explorer really got so much amazing updates, and it's going pretty good, really well. And yeah, things just going just going and going. So we have a lot of projects. We finally have quite a reserve that allow us to just not to think about the current projects, but also plan it a little bit further. So yeah, it's actually pretty quite good.
Yeah, that's I've definitely seen that growth, and it's been cool to see. That's been historically, Dash Core Group has done a lot of development and leadership and things like that, and then over the last couple years, hopefully tried to sort of take a step back, and that's always a lot of people might have viewed that as they took power or something like that, or had too much, we're kind of on purpose doing too much. But a lot of it is just because there's a lot of work that has to get done, and sometimes you just like someone has to do it. And so part of it, I don't know where worried is the right term, but I was just hoping that whatever would come up and fill the
Mhm.
void would be working well. There would be smart, competent people who would come and start doing things, and it looks like it's happening, and that's always a very good thing. And it's always
Thanks.
the risk of decentralization is when you are in a decentralized ecosystem, anything can happen, and anything could be bad too. So it's always good to see that when a good thing happens like that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Marina? What was the highlight of your year so far from a Dash
Oh,
perspective?
for sure, it's the launch of Dash Evolution and the huge number of partnerships and integration we made throughout this year, especially well the latest integration within Rio and
Mm-hmm.
other cool partners that now are accepting Dash. It's a huge step forward, and well, and the price strike that has been just recently. Um, I think we're standing on the verge of something really really cool. Uh, it I don't have any something like special to highlight,
Mm-hmm.
except for evolution, but in general, I see a very nice positive trend regarding Dash, and I really hope that we can stick to it for, in 2025, in 2026, and uh, it's well, it's a really cool. It's so good to know that we hold well all the aces, all our
Mm-hmm.
equipment to move forward and deliver the best experience that we can. So yeah, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I feel. Yeah,
Yeah, and I suppose when people build the technology, it's a lot
of
easier
course.
to it's a lot easier to say that's the big highlight. And sometimes from like the partnership perspective, it's a little bit harder to pinpoint a few things because it's kind of like everything. We've been working on everything. One thing's for sure. Everyone, of course, the launch of Dash Evolution is the big one. And it's
Yeah,
kind of something that I it's kind of funny because the entirety, like my whole time I've ever known Dash more than I heard about Dash and saw some people using it in 2014 as Darkcoin. But ever since I knew it to be called Dash and knew about it, I always knew about this concept of evolution. Oh, we're gonna make this evolution thing. It's gonna be great. And so my entire Dash experience has been evolution is coming and evolution is not here. you know, those two things. And so it's always been this sort of
duality.
specter over the whole ecosystem of obviously we had some of the best tech in the space, but that it's undeniable that for a few years everyone else was keeping on building new cool things and we were just like, no, we'll wait for Evo. We'll do everything when Evo comes out. It's like tokens. Oh no, we'll wait for Evo. We'll do that. And then NFTs. Oh no, we'll wait for that. And everything. Oh well, we'll just wait. And then it just became like, a lot of frustration. And eventually, now it's just like, it kind of felt like a capitulation a couple years ago. And then now it's, Sam worked really hard to deliver it, and I think it turned out better. It turned out better than I expected, I have to say.
For
And
sure.
we had an accelerated release somewhere around the end of July, and then the network activated on the 2nd of September. And in all, I haven't used it that much because there's no real user facing tools that are user facing
Sorry, be
apps.
right back.
Yeah, there's
Keep going.
there's only so many, but every time I have it, just works. Like whether I use it on DashPay to send and receive friend requests and things like that, or when I top up credits using DET
Mm.
and things like the Dash Evo tool, and everything I've seen just like seems to work really smoothly. And the network consensus problems or whatever seem to just be very limited, right? Like as far as like getting the chain to start, getting the forming the quorums, the whole system seems to be architected. Just maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe we're going to run into a lot of problems in the new year, but it seems like for like a radically new system, everything seems to be working out very smoothly and well, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Not many chain halts so far, so yeah, it's constantly working, and and we have environment to start building. So yeah, that's the most cool thing.
Yeah,
It's,
and I do think that 2025 is going to be an interesting year because we built so many things this year that are sort of in the background, and things will come to the forefront in 2025 because, so first of all, just getting a stable network just did not happen until relatively recently, and then getting apps that actually the users can use that use it didn't happen until very recently, and developer SDKs, that's the other thing that I really hope we really get working on very soon, so we can have something on board a lot of developers for that. And then of course, like tokens will be very good. I'm waiting on a few different projects for that, and so the same thing kind of goes with the whole partnership angle as well, marketing and partnerships. And we've been just sort of waiting for the right moment to launch ad campaigns and things like that, but also just partnership, just talking to people for a very long time, trying to set up deals. One of the there is a business that will not be named because I don't want to don't want to shout out live on the show, but there's at least a couple who I remember in January I was like, I want to talk to you, let's get a partnership going, let's help you get instant send ready to work, so you can accept instant transactions in January. And then Marina and I have been harassing them, and this is not just one. There's one I'm thinking of, but there's a few like this, harassing them for a whole year before getting anywhere. And even then, it's just like, sometimes it's the thing about the business development side of things is your performance is not always inside your control, because it's you working with other people and other partnerships.
Exactly.
And in some ways that's good, because that means you get to get people to do a lot of hard work for you, and you just like sign a deal and then yay, all of a sudden we get all this stuff. But at the same time, sometimes you're waiting on people to do things and it doesn't work out the way you'd want. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes that might happen.
So as far as upcoming things, one discussion I think we've sort of had but sort of not had is about smart contracts, right? It wasn't something that was initially discussed when scoping out evolution in the earlier days, or it wasn't publicly mentioned as something that would be on the roadmap or whatever. It was like, no, we're doing something different. And then as long as I've heard Sam talk about it, he's been like, we have to have it at some point. We do. So at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, at the end of 2025, by the end of next year, we have to have that. But we don't exactly yet know what it's going to look like. So from my like really limited understanding, it just seemed like my first thought on that is EVM is the standard. Everyone uses, or a lot of the space uses the Ethereum virtual machine. And I think that just my first thought is, oh, we should do the same thing so we have a lot of immediately compatible smart contracts. But there's obviously nothing's been decided yet, and there's a few other places, a few other ways that this could go. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, smart contracts is a must. So anyway, it will be done anyway because we need to have a tool. We need to have a way to manipulate with the data with transactions. Like it would be really cool to make to have some kind of access control to implement some business logic when you're making transactions in the platform network. So it will be done anyway, but how soon will it be? That's another question. I honestly think that it's pretty early for it right now because even with tokens, even if we make tokens like next month, there are no SDKs. Like I don't know who will be interacting with it, but yeah, it's all. I think a lot of things is dependent on the SDKs. Yeah. Regarding EVM, I think most likely it will be EVM. Like when I was talking with the platform team about that, they said that it's pretty quite easy. They just need to replace calls from the EVM to the drive, and everything will be working so far. So that's good that we have some knowledge already about that. So yeah, it's just matter of time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Matter of time. I would really love to see working Dash SDK in the mainnet this year. Oh, next year, sorry, in
This
2025.
year,
So
time's
we
running out.
so we can finally move on. It
Yeah,
would
for
be really
sure.
really great.
Most of what I've been doing with partnerships, etc., has been promoting the Dash Core, the core chain, the regular chain, and promoting the mobile wallets, which are already built in to use some parts of the platform side of things, but not for partners to integrate. And so already I do have some partners using DAPI for the core side of things. So even though it's the decentralized API, even though that's a even though even though it's being used for a core usage, it's still part of the platform side of things. So I I have a lot of people I've started to talk to, preliminary discussions about, building on Evo. And I just hope that I can keep those discussions preliminary until we have some good tools for them. Because otherwise, I'm like, here you go, go build something. They're like, what the hell is this? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Marina, do you know what we should do for a one of the earliest use cases for Evo, especially once we get, we should make a betting system, like a gambling system, and we should start to bet on which companies are going to implement instant send first. Which ones will take longer.
Yeah, for sure. The, that's there are so many cases that we can implement that technology, and I'm in contact with several companies, so, including that ones who uses and DPNS ones, and then there are many so there are so many potential that you just don't know what to focus on, that we can make we can use this technology for betting. We can use this technology for gambling, for microtransactions inside mobile games. We can even use this for like a booking system, right? And we can use the platform for gathering data. So uh, and the key moment here is that there are no best practices when it comes to BizDeving the platform, because no one has been done. No one has done that. No one has done that before. And well, you're exploring some use cases, you're exploring some best practices in this dev, but you just cannot figure out what what exactly we want right now to deliver the best experience as it is for developers, for end users, and how to, you know, build that connection between maybe maybe crypto like Dash and even non-crypto products. How to build that bridge and how to communicate between those who are even now are not so interested in crypto and don't realize uh, how to how to um, how to implement crypto into their daily lives. You know,
Yeah, of course.
that's why, yeah, we need to develop maybe some algorithm to push evolution forward, and to make everybody know that that technology now exists, and it can be well used for many things in daily lives.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that's in particular going to be a challenge we have to figure out is the best way of getting people to own companies to own and use Dash itself, like the unit, the actual currency, in order to then bridge to credits and pay for things on platform.
Yeah, there are actually a lot of interesting things in the EU. I think that could really blow up because actually there is the whole NFT feature that Sam implemented himself. Is a very interesting feature because we can attract people to vote to actually make decisions in the network. So it's currently only implemented for the DPNS names, but in the future, I think it's pretty cool thing because first we have really cool time frame, 2 weeks. It doesn't get you too bored. It's like not too long, not too short, and yeah, we can vote on any documents in the systems, so people could make some data contracts that actually do some stuff. One of the things that I was thinking of is that could be that could be used for crowdfunding. So
Yeah, for
like
sure.
if yeah, like you just move a lot of move the credits on the identity, and then people can create the documents with some price, for some projects or stuff like that, and then the network, the master nodes decide whether to give the funding for this document, because document have some specific price that they can sell. So yeah, there actually, I think, could be a lot of things about that can be done with the contested resources, which was implemented. So I think that's pretty cool, and we will be using that for our DFO management, for paying the developers with such NFTs. So as the DFO just will label their claims in the system, um, they will set the price. Will be set the price, and they're just bought out from the developer. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool, and there are even more. There will be even more. So yeah,
Yeah. One thing I think could be very cool, and you're mentioning contested resources. Obviously, the username system I think is pretty cool. The way you can get some very exclusive kind of usernames. One thing that and also the way, the potential to register multiple usernames for the same wallet. What I think could be very interesting is being able to, I guess, like wallet segmentation, where, so for example, let's just say you register, I don't know, with like a exchange account or something like that, or some other service, and you register a username that just said that has something to do with your name. Like, let's just say, Incubator Binance. It just says Incubator Binance. And then it just in your contact list, and anytime you want to send to Binance or whatever, you never even have to go interact with Binance's website themselves. You just look on your contact list, pay them. And, or, you could just, so for companies to create a username for you to just, anytime you want to send to that, username, it just goes straight into, whatever the use case is. And so imagine if you have like a reloadable card or something like that, like a payment card. And then you just have like, let's just say, Spritz, Spritz Joel, whatever. And then I just look that up and go, boom, and just pay it anytime I need to throw more on there. I can just pay right there and I never have to actually open up their apps. And so that thing could be pretty cool, where now all of a sudden you have like an exchange or whatever registering tons of usernames because it's for the user. I'm sure it would probably be a non-contested one usually. And then you can just, offer that to the user where they don't have to go through, especially with an exchange where all the transaction details are so, they're so easy to get wrong. There's people doing hacks and spoofs and things like that all the time. But, oh no, send to this address, and they swap out the address or something. And if you just make that connection one time, make that connection, and then you can just pay confidently every single time with privacy as well, because that's another thing. People love to watch exchanges, and they're like, oh, who's interacting with the Binance hot wallet? Here we go. Oh, some whale just moved a bunch of funds in, instead of having that, being able to do a new address every time, for example. Oh, here we go. Hey, Cal, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Pretty good. Just talking about the segmented username case, where I think it'd be very cool to have, say, for example, an exchange or something, issue each user a dash username specifically. So you just add that to your contact list, and anytime you want to say send money to Coinbase, you just have like Cal Coinbase or whatever in your contact list, and then you just pay it, and it just auto goes there. You never have to open up Coinbase. You never have to get phished. Never have to get an address swap attack. None of that. You just send it, and I need to throw more on there, something like that.
Yeah, make it harder to lose your funds when you're going to and from an exchange.
Yeah, and like no memo required, that you can mess up a memo when you're like, send to this thing with this memo, and you screw up the memo. Oh, your money's gone. Sorry. Like, just eliminate all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of readable names.
How many coins are getting lost that way?
All of them.
I've personally lost a ton over the
Where
years.
do all these coins go? I mean, there's got to be some sort of a wallet of lost coins. No?
Yeah, they go to
Or something like that.
SAFU.
The SAFU funds. That's their insurance policy.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder, because there are some exchanges that do some things, like they mandate KYC at some point when they didn't before, and then a lot of people cannot comply with that, and then they just lose their funds. And sometimes I wonder, I mean, if you say, warning, we're implementing mandatory KYC in like 3 weeks, get all your funds off now. If you don't, make sure you're registered before then. That's one thing. But I do kind of wonder if some exchanges that use that as a way to just take people's money, they think, oh, we got a bunch of crazy anonymous people on our exchange. A lot won't be able to provide ID. So we're just going to say you need ID to get your money, and then a lot of them won't, and we keep their money. Maybe that's a conspiracy theory, but I'm sure someone's thought of it.
I think it's happened a lot, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're freeform, no agenda, but we were just sort of talking about the biggest things we're excited about or grateful for that happened this year. And I don't really have to speak for you too much, Cal, but I think that one of the big ones is the whole Dash in Leo thing.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride in 2024 in many ways. And then towards the end, you and I met. I think that was in September in Croatia, and then obviously we're kind of talking about it in theory, and then seeing it kind of come to fruition was a lot of fun. A lot of twists and turns in that journey, and then now that it's been live for, I don't know, what has it been, about 6 to 8 weeks or so. We've just seen like crazy results from it, and the past couple of days I've been working with the team to pull all the data about it. So I guess this will be the first place that I announce anything even remotely related to it. But we hit 13,000 monthly active users in December, which is wild considering that we were at around 4,000 or 5,000 in November. So I would say a vast majority of that is because of the Dash integration, and then all the PR that you did, and then some of the PR that we did, and we've been running X ads, and we've been seeing a ton of traffic from that. And almost all of those new signups, I would say probably 85%, just because I don't have all the data in front of me, are from Key Store signups. So yeah, I would definitely put a lot of my gratitude for 2024 into the Dash integration and its ability to grow the user base, which I know a lot of people on Inleo and Hive would be grateful for as well. And they'll see the data on that. It's just a really exciting way to end 2024 and kind of set us up for bigger goals in 2025.
Yeah, it's definitely something that it's kind of it sort of fills a lot of needs on a lot of different levels for a lot of different people, and it's just like we're waiting for that right moment, that right thing that can make things work, and this seems to be something that really struck a chord. And I'm noticing when there's people who are asking, how do I get into crypto? I want to start using crypto. And it's always difficult to just say, hey, get a wallet here. Let me go to an exchange, go buy some, all this kind of stuff. And then, then what? Oh, you buy something on Bitrefill, or, oh, look, that's cool. And it doesn't like get you into crypto really the same way. And I find myself that just saying sign up to Inleo is the easiest way to onboarding someone. Just go here, sign up, start chatting and stuff, and then start earning, and then there you go. It just that answering that question of how do I get started, it seems like that's the answer that really works out for people. It's like some of these kind of killer applications, and I do have to say, shout out to the Inleo dev team for building things on a good time schedule, because there was this joke in the Dash community for many years of the When Evo, WENEVO, and that's because the evolution platform was delayed for many years, and a lot of people, rightfully so, were impatient. But then the next thing then it just becomes something else. It's when Maya, like when are we getting on the Maya protocol, and then when SDK, when are we getting the SDK for, then when anything, and we have not had the time to make a when in Leo emoji for the Discord because it just happened. It got built. We weren't waiting around long enough for it to happen. So, props to the dev team for working hard and getting it to work in a good time frame. And considering it was like late September that we were late September that we met, and then the whole rest of September I was like sick and not really doing anything, and then so basically it wasn't until some point in October we were like, hey, let's try to figure something out here, and then in under 2 months, boom, it's just done. From like, let's start working, it's done. And I think that certain unnamed payment processor companies who haven't yet integrated Instant Send could learn a lot from that fast development schedule. Throwing some shade there, but that's fine. You know, if you know, you know. But yeah, so where'd you find your devs? That's a good question, maybe.
Yeah, it's a great question. I push them really hard. You know, the team are all rock stars, so it's really great when they all come together and we just kind of say, okay, we're going to do this. And I have this. There's kind of a running joke in the Leo ecosystem that I can do anything in a week. So anyone tells me anything, I'm like, yeah, we can do that by Friday. We'll have it by Friday. So you know, I'll push the devs to get me something by Friday that I can get my hands on, and then we can start tweaking from there. You know, the main way I get devs is I actually said this on stage in Croatia. I pluck them from college, from universities. I love doing that. You know, they don't have any real work experience yet in terms of, you know, the real corporate world or whatever. So they haven't been tainted by, you know, timelines and red tape. But they haven't
written a script to move their mouse every 3 seconds yet.
Exactly. Yeah. To press space on their keyboard. Yeah, it's great to pluck them from there because, you know, they've got experience being like a little bit of a hacker, you know, like kind of a PC hacker on their own. And then they've got just enough, you know, experience in college to have learned a few things. And then they're just eager to learn and get started and get some good experience on their resume. So yeah, that's been a big way for me to get people, and they tend to stay on. They tend to be really happy with super flexible work schedules, but just me kind of hammering them for the whens and soons.
Yeah, definitely. The hungry kid kind of thing is very. It's kind of a good concept for finding people. The person I have doing all our videos and stuff right now, Danny. I know his dad. His dad used to run the Crypto Show, which was a big crypto podcast back in the day, and he just gets stuff done. Very scrappy, does things well. One thing he did, it's interesting, is he wrote a script that auto pulls articles from Inleo, like blog posts, or from, I guess, Hive, and then puts them on a website. So for people who want to have like a blog or something on their website, it's just like you can just write on something like Inleo and it just boom, pops it right up. And you figure that out pretty quick, which is nice. But yeah, so it is going to be interesting when we start to see the first Dash payouts come out of the Inleo ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I've actually been testing it a lot myself, just because there hasn't been. I'm not sure if anyone's actually done like a claim yet from like a production status, like some, you know, a user that's come in and then claimed. But I was playing with the claims over the weekend, and we were actually able to lower the minimum claim amount. So now it's 0.25 Dash. So you know, we had a minimum set at like, I think it was like $15 or $20 or so. You know, based on Maya's kind of minimums, but now it's 0.25 Dash. So yeah, I'm excited to see some people get, you know, 0.25 Dash worth of earnings and then click cash out and see it into their Dash wallet. It's super fast. It's super fast. So it's fun to see it and use it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a big thing. And then when people could buy premium and other things, just one thing after another, start getting that kind of network effect going. I think it'll be fun. It will be interesting to see when the Maya protocols kind of their volume, how that gets affected, because so far it's just like a couple of small like blogger type people swapping $5 here, $10 there, whatever. Not that much volume, but over it's a much more maybe consistent type of volume, where over a long period of time you could start to see, you know, now you have like, let's just say we have like 50,000 monthly active users or whatever, and then that's like, okay, so then maybe 10,000 people, 10,000 like withdrawals or deposits or whatever, and then okay, that starts to snowball, and then eventually, you know, it's funny because a friend of mine, gentleman James, who I had on my show not too long ago, he was a Dash OG like 2014, 2015 for a long time, and he runs some company called iYield, which lets you track all your yield across a bunch of different platforms. And he kind of was talking about the dirty secret of DeFi is there's like no users. Like it's like a very few people actually providing liquidity, doing all the swaps, and it's just it's kind of like a little bit of like a whale game. And I'm sure that the same thing, it's a sign of like early times, right? But I'm sure that as things go on, things will improve. But still, I'm sure that most of the users of the Maya protocol, for example, are just like a handful, like 100 relatively large users just using it. That's probably what it is, a couple, maybe a couple hundred. And it seems like this integration is one of the first things that can actually start to provide, to bring sort of retail to it, regular users, regular like constant usage from people who aren't just big traders, and that's something I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it is whale games in most scenarios, especially on like Ethereum DeFi, where the fees are high enough that your average person's not going to spend $300 a month managing their DeFi position by doing a couple transfers. And Leo Dex has like 570,000 in swap volume since we launched it. I forgot when we launched it, sometime in 2024. So yeah, I'm excited to see that kind of grow consistently. We've had just kind of big chunks. Like I think one user accounts for like 400,000 of that volume, and then everyone else is the other 172. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of consistent volume, and whether it's through premiums or cash outs. It's like $10 or $5 at a time, but if you get like you said, 50,000 monthly active users that are transacting across those rails, and the point is, and the way we built it is that they don't even realize it. They just click a button and it does stuff, on the back end. But on the front end, they're like, oh yeah, I'm just buying premium with, $10 worth of Dash. Click a button and $10 worth of Dash leaves their wallet. And then they have premium on Inleo, or, the vice versa for cashing out. I want to cash out $15 worth of Dash, click cash out, and it just converts, Leo and HBD to Dash in their wallet. So yeah, I think the consistent volumes can have a big impact.
Well, speaking of which, Ahmed Manga, that Inleo user, was just posting in the threadcast here a screenshot of swapping Hive to Dash using Leo Dex. So I guess we're doing it live, huh?
Yeah, we actually soft launched that. So over the weekend, we pushed that live on Leo Dex. So now you can do one-click swaps with Hive. So you can go, Hive to Dash, and it's literally one click, and it just aggregates across the blockchain. So like actually on the screenshot I'm looking at that he posted, you can see the route is just like, it's obviously doing a bunch of things, to route it from Hive to, literally go from Hive to Arbitrum to Maya and then land in Dash. But it's just happening in one click. So yeah, I see that people are already playing with it.
Yeah, for sure, which is cool. One thing that's kind of interesting to see is how all these kinds of network effects sort of come together at the end of the day. So, like, I've been a ThorChain user since 2021, since the ChaosNet days, really trying to get Dash on ThorChain. And the integration work started, and the liquidity to seed the pool, everything started under the ThorChain idea, and then pushed really hard to get it on Maya, got it as the first new chain added to Maya. And so now we had that piece working well. And then now the whole Hive ecosystem, the Hive blockchain, figuring out a way for that to interact with Dash users and using Maya as kind of the glue. Now it's like there's a lot of things that came together to make this thing happen. And now I'm getting lots of messages from different Hive projects wanting to work with Dash, which is pretty cool. Like, there are some other interesting projects that are going to launch pretty soon that use both blockchains together. So that's going to be fun.
More chains is better.
Yes, absolutely. In the blockchain context, I should clarify, because who knows. Now, that reminds me of something that came up that hasn't been, I guess this is the alpha, right? That hasn't become discussed publicly yet. Is there's been a lot of talk behind the scenes to do a combined Dash and Hive Fest event some point in the new year. And I know a few different people reached out to me about that, and so now there's a group going. We're talking about it. Basically, I had wanted to hold some sort of a Dash event next year at some point, and then there's just so much, just so much in the logistics that have to deal with that, and just where we're gonna do it, how much it's gonna cost. What do we do? Do we run a hackathon around it? Can we get the developers to take some time off to go do that? Like all that kind of stuff. And it definitely makes a lot of sense to do like a combined forces event of some kind this year, while we're getting everything else ready, and then possibly some point early 2026 or so, we'll hold like a very Dash dedicated conference. But yeah, it's it's good to know. Good stuff. What do you think about that idea? Would you want to go to a co-branded kind of event, two Dash days, 2 Hive days?
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. I was actually at Hive Fest. I was talking to some people from Hive and saying that they should pass me the baton so I could manage the fest and potentially do it in Chicago, because there's never been one here. I don't even know if there's ever been a Hive Fest in the States, actually. So yeah, it could be interesting to do it there. I know a lot of people are saying they don't know if they could make it to the States, but I think that would be a lot of fun. And then I definitely think it would make sense, and I've pushed for it to do Hive Fest as more of a broader crypto fest, but then, have it be by Hive and, have certain days that are focused on Hive and certain speakers, obviously, that are focused on Hive. So I think, connecting with Dash and doing it that way would be a big benefit. My opinion on it would be to do the, Dash X Hive, for Hive Fest, and then promote that as a kind of broader crypto fest, because people recognize the Dash name much more than the Hive name, in my opinion. And, Dash has been around, since forever in the crypto space. When I walk around and ask people if they've ever heard of Dash, even your, most normie of normie recognizes Dash, if they've been in crypto for any length of time. So, yeah. So I definitely recommend, using the Dash name and that being a huge benefit to getting people there.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, my dermatologist knew what Dash was, which is kind of funny. It's like, oh yeah, it's one of those older coins, which coming up in January, I can't remember off the top of my head which day, but it's the 11-year Dash anniversary. So we're starting to put up big boy numbers now,
About to be a teenager.
Yeah, definitely. About to start showing some attitude, maybe start smelling bad. I don't know. But yeah, I think that some people mentioned that they would rather do like a co-branded event or whatever to hold a conference somewhere in Europe, which I'm fine with. Obviously, I'm sure that you guys, Maria and Mikhail, would much prefer it to be closer over there. There's always like, and like, from my perspective, like, I don't want to go to another conference in the U.S. necessarily, like, all the time. It's kind of like my excuse to like go see the world a little bit. But so definitely at some point we're we should have like events everywhere. Just obviously has to make sense. But especially this might be something when we get we work with the distributor team on, because the multiple like more localized events thing kind of makes more sense if you're trying to do a spend at local merchants kind of a experience. And so yeah, working on some stuff with that, which could be cool.
Yeah.
Who are the speakers?
Who would the
So if
speakers
we, yeah,
just me and Cal and no one else. Everyone else can shut up. Just kidding. No, but I'm
I
sure
bet we could fill the time.
Yeah, I could fill it, but then it'd be like, with this guy again, like, and he start dipping into other material, and so yeah. Obviously, see, that's kind of an interesting dynamic because in the past, Dash Core Group, which did a lot of does a lot of the core protocol development, also did a lot of the business development and marketing and everything, and they arranged conference trips and they arranged speaking and all that kind of stuff. And now that they don't do that anymore, now it's Marina and I do that, that side of things. The sort of downside of that is none of the developers want to talk publicly. Like none of them want to come up on stage and do any, like they're just like, we're busy working. And then Sam, the lead developer, who's an absolute genius, and he's smart. Also, he's also like eloquent in the way, like he phrases things very well, but these complex topics. But he also usually looks like he's just gotten out of bed, and he tends to do that a lot, and he doesn't really want to go up on stage. And one thing
we could invite pasta.
yeah, so that's the actual like next kind of idea, is because also and I'm sure like a lot of developers are this way, and that they're not that good at selling things. They're too preoccupied in being correct, And so Sam does do like a lot of like, well, I mean, like, instead of just saying like, this is awesome, it's like, well, you could attack the network, but I mean, it would be hard. It would take this. I mean, theoretically, it's like, just say you can't attack it. Jesus, like, and so the core, he's the kind of the lead dev in general, but also more specifically for the platform side of things, for the evolution side of things. For the core chain, it's a young, a nice fellow by the name of Pasta, who has been pseudonymous for a long time. I don't know how into showing his face publicly, etc. he is. I've kind of seen it a few times, but maybe Pasta wants to be the Andreas Antonopoulos type dude, the get up on stage and do all that stuff or whatever that I can.
Could be a good speaker.
Yeah. Now the missed opportunity thing was one of the senior evolution developers from many years past, Chuck Williams, also has a very good. He's moved on to other things now, but he has a very good voice, and he has a obviously good understanding of the tech, but also a very sort of TED Talk-esque way of conceptualizing and expressing things. And so he's like kind of like the dream presenter who would just come up and just I remember it didn't even like mean to, but like on one of my shows that I had him on, he used the term real estate of the mind. And I've never forgotten that, because it's such a pumpy term in the US tech sector kind of thing about, well, we're crafting an ecosystem, we're building out the real estate of the mind. And like, oh, the VCs give them money. It's like perfect for that kind of stuff. And we don't have a lot of people that are good at that side of things. But yes, so I'm sure we drag out a couple of developers. I'm sure I'll say something. I'm sure I'm trying to think of who else. Who are obviously the heavy hitters in the Hive ecosystem. Obviously Cal, obviously Starkers, obviously Crimson Clad, if we can get her out to do that. And then I'm sure there's a few others that are, kind of like you have to have them as a presenter or something like that. But yeah, it could be interesting. Now, here's an interesting thing. What do you think the appetite is for a merged event in the greater Hive ecosystem? Because I know that there's always the kind of more progressive side of Hive, as in Leo and stuff like that. Sometimes like the old grumpy whales might, take different ideas about certain things. And from my perspective, doing like some kind of a joint anything, like including partnering on stuff like Inleo, for example, makes sense. But some people are like, why are we talking about another blockchain? So what do you think the appetite is? Do you think it would annoy some people? Do you think people would get upset at it? Do you think people would just really like the idea? Like generally, what's your vibe from the Hive community?
Yeah, it's very mixed. It depends on who you talk to. Like you said, there's a lot of people that are growth oriented and want to see us connecting to other blockchains, ecosystems, and obviously just making friends in the space. And I would be one of those who believes that we're stronger together in terms of crypto projects. It's not a competitive. Yeah, I've always said this, like, if you're in the industry of like making toothpaste, then you're going to be very competitive with other people who make toothpaste. It's a very saturated market, and there's not, there's really no new inventions when it comes to toothpaste. But when you're in an emerging industry like crypto, we're all doing such different things, and there's such a big potential in terms of growth. There's so many users out there that haven't ever touched crypto, and if they have touched crypto, it's they've bought $100 worth of Dogecoin on Coinbase. They haven't gone deep into this industry and seen the things that the Dash team, the Hive team, Hive ecosystem, and Inleo team have been working on. So there's just so many things out there that we can tap into when it comes to growth, and that's kind of like abundance mindset propaganda. But it is actually true that there's just so much untapped potential that partnering up and working with other ecosystems is the way to go. And I think we've shown that with the Dash Inleo integration, literally tripling our user base inside of a month. There's just so much out there for us to get that I would love to see the Hive ecosystem, in terms of the kind of old guard is what we tend to call them, kind of wake up to that. And I'm pretty outspoken about it. It gets me into trouble pretty frequently because, there's just, I mean, it's not just Dash. There's just so many projects out there that you can work with. And in my opinion, the more you work with them, the more you make connections. You and I meeting in Croatia, just kind of being a random happenstance, but leading to, great things for both of our projects. It's things like that. It's the serendipity of being out in the world and just being friendly and open to doing things with people that will grow your chain and your ecosystem. So I see just a really kind of two sides of the aisle with when it comes to Hive people that, some of them just want to, sit in the little bubble and happy go merry and keep things the status quo. There's plenty of people that are like that. But for every person that's like that, I think there's, 2 or 3 more who want to see growth. They want to see new people. They want to see new faces. They want to see new integrations. They want to learn new things. Like they want to see, a lot of them had heard of Dash, and this is my experience with a lot of people that were, more heavily on Inleo. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have heard of Dash, have maybe even bought it before. But they had no idea what you guys were doing in terms of wallets, in terms of, Dash usernames. That, there's so many things that they kind of learned as we integrated and as we've kind of talked about it on shows like this, where there's just, that crossover that really matters. So, I just think that we need to focus on the people that are excited about that kind of external growth, the people that look at, an ecosystem like Dash and they say, oh yeah, come on board and we'll also, come on board your protocols and we'll learn about them and use them and find ways to, grow together. So I think, and what I think has happened over the years is the latter group have grown, and the former group, the people that aren't open to new things have fallen off, which is kind of a natural human progression, right? Like you see the generations kind of shift, and the newer people in are more open to change and updates, and the older people are on their way out, and they kind of just stick in their little groups and the status quo, and eventually the new group does take over.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. As long as people wouldn't like boycott the event if it was like a co-branded thing, you know, that's really all I care about. They can have their own opinions, but um, it's also like we mentioned about the growth mindset and stuff like that, and the toothpaste thing about fighting over market share. That is something that I think that we do not understand yet, and especially people who have like the maximalist mindset, especially like the Bitcoin maximalist mindset, don't realize that of the whatever it is 8 billion people on the planet, almost no one uses crypto for almost anything. There's just almost no one using this stuff, like so few. And just the everyday payments use case, just the everyday crypto payments use case, just the everyday, using a social media app, for example, just data storage and, indexing some data and stuff. There's so many applications that no one is touching at all, or people are just barely trying to do. And that's kind of the thing that I find is very, well, frustrating is the right term, but because it is what it is, right? People in the crypto world are very focused on, big fish, small pond syndrome, where they see the available market share that's currently being serviced by cryptocurrencies, and they try to stake a dominant position in that. And what they should be trying to do is get new users. Like, imagine if you run a coffee shop and some small shop down the street has like 20 customers a day, and all you're trying to do is just get those 20 customers, and you're in a city of a couple million people. It's like, there's a lot of people out there, dude. Get some of them. There's some people out there. Go get some of them. Get them to use your stuff. But so that's kind of where I think that we can really stand to benefit a lot, is when we start to really onboard a lot of new people from nothing to this. And there's just so much room for growth in so many different sectors that I don't think that I do feel like a lot of projects are sort of fighting over the same piece, and they're not really. I think that they're going to be left behind, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think you kind of always see that. Like they're, like I said, the new generation comes in, they integrate everything, and they push things forward. And there's other people who resonate with that, and then the older generations get left behind and kind of booted out. So I think there might be some people who boycott. I know at the previous, not this last Hive Fest, but the one before it. I know there were some people who publicly said that they didn't want to go for various reasons. But it still ended up being and that was in Mexico. Still ended up being a great Hive Fest, and all the things happened, and life went on. And if anything, there was a different kind of energy there. So I'm the type of person that I love change. I love when things are chaotic. I think a lot of things thrive in chaos, especially growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. One thing that I don't think that people fully understand about the crypto world is crypto is change. It's changing everything. And I don't think people really understand the full extent to this, because it's like the internet changed so many different things. It's hard to imagine a world before the internet. I do remember a world before the internet, but it sucked. It wasn't that good. But just how many things. It's not just, now we have an easier way of doing the same things we were doing. It's like, no, everything is different. Just messengers and text communication is just completely different. People used to just talk to each other face to face, or they'd pick up a phone, go bring, 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 and then they go just chat on the phone and like a thing. And now people just like, as thoughts come into their brain, they just zip, zip, and then take a picture, send, like instant, like the kinds of, it's not just doing things better or differently. The funny thing also, like I like to say about like the magic level of technology, we are basically having a mass broadcasted telepathic conversation between the four of us across crazy corners of the world right now. Like, this is magic, right? Where we just press a couple buttons and then we're just like, just mind meld. You just talk to someone, and like just the idea of like a FaceTime or something like that, where you can just go interface with a person anywhere in the world instantly, is really changed a lot of things. I don't think people understand really that crypto and decentralized tech like that is going to change the world just as much as the internet does. It's just as big of a deal. And just like the internet, people had no idea what it was when it came out or what to do with it. It now, like, what people think is important in crypto, what it can do, is just, you know, it's strange to hear people saying it's like a scam or something, because it's just like saying electricity is a scam. Like, no, it's a natural resource. It's an untapped resource almost. It's an invention, right? But it's like a resource, and it can do so many things. And to just imagine that, just to imagine all that is pretty crazy, like what it can be used for. And probably what you can think about is everything. I would say everything. Not everything will be crypto, but I think almost everything that we do, if you think about, like, when we communicate, when we send encrypted messages back and forth, that'll probably be using some sort of blockchain protocol pretty soon. Everything we pay for, obviously. Anytime we communicate on social media, same thing. Every time we send value across social media, the same thing. Every time we invoice someone or send an invoice or something like that, write that to a blockchain. Every time. So there's so much room for this space to grow. And even if, let's just throw a name out, Litecoin. Let's say Litecoin becomes the money everyone uses to pay for stuff. Like, literally the entire planet is using Litecoin to pay for stuff, which is very unlikely that any blockchain would do that. But even if that happens, what other room for growth is there still? There's tons of other things to do, to just build in here, fit in there. It just, the idea that, like, even in the era of X dominating the social world, you know how many different social platforms there are right now? People are starting new ones all the time. Like, oh, let's go on Blue Sky. Oh, let's go on Threads. Let's go on, Farcaster. There's just people everywhere. There's lots of room to compete for that. And I think it's weird. It's like saying, in one small town, you start a hamburger restaurant. And then you're like, all right, well, let's compete with them. It's just like, well, the whole world eats food. And there's so much diversity of opportunity out there for that. So, yeah, that's my little rant on what to do.
When do you think will be the era of crypto when everybody will start using it, and it will be some sort of a pretty normal thing to live entirely on crypto and do the things you're doing now?
Yeah, I'll let some of you guys give your thoughts and opinions, your guesses. What do you think?
Well, that depends on how much people will be using it. So the more people will use it, the faster it will become. The future we want.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I think there's got to be some sort of a switch when something clicks in your mind and then you start using it. I think some sort of that was when the internet was invented. Very few people was using it, right? But then something clicked, something changed, and we need to find out what's that thing in crypto that should be changed to make everybody shift their minds.
Yeah. I think the mass adoption trigger, I think, is probably something very small.
What's that trigger? What's the trigger? Because we're trying all the time to figure out that trigger, that thing that will deliver the best experience. We're trying doing this, we're trying to do that, and Dash itself, it's the digital cash. It's pretty easy to use, but still, very few people uses it uh, for certain reason, and we gotta figure out that that point that will change everything. Not
Yeah.
not overnight, but over a few months, I guess, or maybe well, that's very challenging.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the details that go into that are going to be interesting because on the whole, everything works, but it's clunky a little bit, and there's some volatility, and it's not widely integrated into systems and services, and there's just a bunch of things that make it hard for people to just start using crypto. And then as you start to take those things away, make it a little easier to use, a little funner, a little more user friendly, you might get a few extra people, but it's for the most part, I think once you hit a tipping point, then the whole thing works well enough that all of a sudden that one little tweak was the last straw, and then all of a sudden people start using it in mass. And then of course then there's a few others where you can onboard people, but then there's a few other adjustments to where now it's like people will start onboarding each other. Now it's like people can't get enough of this stuff. And so that's of course the product that sells itself is of course everyone's dream. And I think we have to just keep on hammering it, keep on working on the edges, keep on fixing this, making latency lower, making reliability higher, making things more intuitive, and just at some point I think we get everyone on board. Yeah, but when mass adoption, I've kind of said that this cycle is in this year, next year, right? Is the early majority adoption cycle where almost everyone at least in the developed world, will know someone who uses crypto of some kind. And it won't be everyone, obviously, but it won't be that strange to know of someone who uses it. I think we're kind of already seeing a lot of those signs now. I forget where I saw it, but there was some sort of a stat that said something like around 40% of adults in the U.S. have owned crypto at some point, or even if it's just like you bought some on Coinbase and that's it. And I mean that's a lot of people, even though that's not very deep usage at all. It's still a lot of people, and so I would say early majority this cycle, and then 4 years from now, early mass adoption, where you're going to start to see, like, frequently it won't be that weird to see someone using crypto in day-to-day life, and maybe even like a big portion of the population, like maybe 10% of people will be using crypto on like a weekly basis in some way. That's just the way I kind of see the thing going. But as far as like it's kind of like the internet, where now everything runs on the internet, but people had physical packages, and then they had phone lines, and they had other things and fax machines and stuff for many years, side by side with the internet. It's the same thing where I think it'll take a good 20 years before, at least 20, maybe, we'll see, 20 years before everyone starts using crypto for almost everything in their life, like where the legacy centralized sort of systems are kind of not really used that much anymore for anything. So that's just kind of my general idea, and I think we can do a good job of pushing things forward towards that right now. Let me check in on the Threadcast here. The Threadcast is our live chat we have on Inleo, which has a whole bunch of people commenting and getting paid for the comments sometimes if you upvote them. I am upvoting everything I can so far, and I'm going to throw in the Dash account in a second to do that.
Yeah, I've been upvoting all of them as they go. So looks like a bunch of people jumped in.
Mm-hmm. I'm just answering this person who said, in order to spend Dash, does the merchant need to be enrolled in something, or is there a system behind the scenes taking care of things? Is there any Dash Visa debit card that can exchange Dash on the spot to pay? So, might as well jump on that one. First of all, there are plenty of Dash point of sale systems around the world. The easiest one, I would say, is something called BitRequest. It's a free open source app that anyone can download and use. And it just basically, it's kind of like a wallet. It's like a step up from that, where you can do an invoice, request an amount, get paid, link it to your wallet, your XPub keys, or single address, or whatever. And it's for anyone who just wants to put it on an iPad and give it to someone, and they don't want to give up control over their own sending wallet. It works best. There's a few other ones. So for example, in Europe, IV Pay is they sell hardware as well as software that lets you auto convert also to euros, for example. And they also have vending machines. So if at some point, whenever we do our Hive Dash Fest, whatever, we should make sure that they're there. So you have a vending machine in place that you can just go buy stuff with Dash as a cool proof of concept. So, and then the US, it's a little bit of a harder question, but there's a app called CurePay, CURPAY, and that also does auto fiat conversion and everything like that, and kind of works the best for a user who wants to do that. Now, as far as debit cards and stuff, there's plenty of different ones. I'm sure there's I'm not too familiar with the exchange ones like Coinbase or Crypto.com or whatever, but plenty of those support Dash. I use the Spritz card. So Spritz Finance is a fun company in the US that lets you pay all your bills with crypto, including Dash. And they have a reloadable virtual debit card that I put on my watch here and use that tap and pay everywhere. And so, that's kind of the state of things right now. We're working on some integrations into the wallets for spending tools that would let you, just go to spending on a whole bunch of merchants around the world directly into the wallet. And there's 2 or 3 different companies we're working with on that. It could make things a lot easier. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. It's a nice long-winded answer to that. Winanda says, when Dash referral program? It's a good question. And I don't think that there will ever be just a broad-based Dash referral program, but for certain apps, for sure. I have to think about what that looks like, or how we track or chart that. There are referral programs for all the services I talked about. So, for example, there's referral, refer a friend kind of thing. But the big thing is Inleo, of course, has a referral program, and you can get paid in Dash for that to get users starting to use Dash. So that's pretty great. So, you want to talk a little bit more about that? No.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense, to have referrals at kind of the app layer as opposed to the blockchain layer. You know, it, and we've got that for Hive, obviously, and now for Dash as well. So if you refer people into Inleo, um, you get referral rewards paid as Leo to your account, to your Inleo account, obviously. And we do up to $50 per referral. And the way we do that is it's basically like a tiered system where, you refer someone in, you get a little bit of crypto for the initial referral, just to get them signed up. And then as they get more active on the platform, the amount that you earn from that specific referral increases. So, if they make a blog post, if they make a thread, you get more Leo, you kind of get the next tier. If they make 100 threads, you get the next tier, and so on and so forth. So that obviously works for Dash as well. The way we built this, I think, is really interesting. So when you refer someone in and you get paid that Leo, when you go to cash out your earnings, if you're a Dash user, so you signed up with Keystore and then you choose to earn in Dash, when you click cash out, it converts all the liquid Leo and liquid HBD in your wallet to Dash using LeoDex as the backend. So, on the front end, you click one button and it's doing all the, auto magically. On the back end, it's converting your Leo and HBD to Dash through LeoDex on my protocol. So that means that when you earn referral rewards, you also have to claim those in the referral dashboard. There's a separate dashboard specific to referrals. So when you claim the referral rewards and then afterwards click cash out, it actually cashes out the referral rewards that you just claimed, since those are sitting as liquid Leo in your wallet. So essentially you are getting paid Dash for referrals to Inleo. So, let's say that you onboard, 10 of your friends and they become, full monthly active users. It's not going to take very long for you to earn the full $50 for those referrals. So that's $500, worth of Leo that would be sitting in your wallet after you claim the referral reward. Then you click cash out, and then you're getting $500 worth of Dash, which I don't know what that would be right now. Is that like 12 Dash or something like that?
Depends on the day.
So essentially you're getting paid Dash for those referrals. And the way we design the links is, I think the way we design the links, I think, is really interesting. Initially, we just had a regular referral link, and that's still live. Like, you can just share like a, inleo.io/sign up, and then it has your referral code on it. But what we've built more recently in the past like 6 weeks or so is we actually copied Amazon's affiliate link system. So if you're familiar with it, if you share an Amazon affiliate link, it puts a cookie in the whoever clicked on its browser for 30 days. And if they come back to Amazon within 30 days and buy anything, you get the affiliate revenue from that, even if it's not the original product that you linked. So we actually copied that. And if you copy the link and share it from your blog posts or threads, you actually do the same thing with cookies on Inleo. So it drops a 30-day cookie in the, whoever clicks its browser. And if they come, they can leave they can come read your blog post, leave, and 15 days later, if they come back and sign up, then you'll actually still get the referral reward and credit for that. So I think that's having a massive impact. I've seen a lot of people coming in through the referral system. And I would love to see, Dash users getting active with it, because I think it's actually far superior of a way to earn, even, over blogging and threading. So like, if you're doing all three of those things at the same time, earning that minimum 0.25 Dash to cash out is going to be really quick.
Yeah, for sure. It's especially when you think about like people with their different competencies and different things they're good at. So many people are, I can't get into crypto because I'm not a trader, I'm not a dev. There's so many other things you could do. And like, if you're a full-time content creator, like I'm not a full-time but I do create content and like write blog posts and do some videos and stuff. That's always good. Not everyone does that. Some people are just a professional shit poster, just like to run around saying weird things and, kind of do that. And for them, that's especially people and then some people are very good at like shilling. And I am not a good shill, I have to say. I'm not a bad shill, but I'm not that good. I'm not like, I have to say, like, Dash Italia, the Italian Dash account on X, as well as in Leo, is a very active and good shell. Always on top of things, always in the comments on big threads, always posting links, and just like running like a machine. And it's just like some people are just good at that, and they should be able to earn something from onboarding new users. And that's the big thing, is the whole onboarding process, right? The whole onboarding thing, it is such a pain in the ass to get, like, I won't say pain, but it's a lot of work to get users. And once you get them, then retain them and everything like that. And I don't envy the salespeople who are, kind of working on that. And so having a system where people can just, like, I almost wonder, like, what did the human race do to build businesses before referral links? Because it makes it just so much easier for anyone to just jump on board and just decide to be a self-anointed salesperson. So it's definitely something that we've been leveraging a whole lot in Dash this last year, which we didn't before this year. And that was one of my big things. I went on the Incubator Weekly show when that was going on, or when it was still hosted by Amanda, with Marina, talking about, I wanted to do this Dash growth idea of running business development and marketing for Dash. And so we went on and talked about it, and a big centerpiece of that was the whole referral thing, because in the past, and I'm sure, Cal might be like horrified to learn, but for most of Dash's existence, there wasn't really any kind of a product like onboarding or metric system on that at all.
Absolutely.
It was just like, yay, let's build apps and cool, and let's post on them on social media, and there you go. And then, people might download. Oh, let's run an ad campaign. But as far as like actually tracking users through, how many users do you onboard, all that kind of stuff, it wasn't really in place, and there wasn't really a strategy. It's like we kind of came into the situation where we didn't know who our users were, how many of them there were, what caused them to react and what didn't. We just didn't know anything. And so one of my first things was, I'm going to get referral links for everything, and I'm going to track it and actually also monetize it, because the amount of money we have made over the years for businesses, for for-profit businesses, is probably crazy. And yet, what do we get out of it? Oh, we're happy they're using our chain. So day one, we started using those. Day one, we started monetizing it. And, it's obviously a slow grind on some of that stuff, but I think it's really has really turned around a lot. And the good thing about having InLeo, of course, is it's the easiest Dash product, I think, to onboard someone to, because they just get to start using a social media thing, right? That's easy. They don't have to download and back up this, they have to back up their wallet, hopefully, but they don't have to like worry about buying crypto and where do I do with it? How do I send it? They just intuitively use a new, new social thing. And the fact that there's a referral code right in there kind of works out pretty well. So I think that that's definitely going to be one of our onboarding centerpieces coming into the new year, is going to be using InLeo as that first hook to get people in. And then past that, then there's like the whole cascade of apps and things that you can do with your Dash now that you have it. So building that whole thing in together, I think would be pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see other Hive projects and how they can kind of fit into the whole thing and take advantage of the Dash thing. So, yeah.
I've been talking to a few projects, Splinterlands being one of them, in the Hive ecosystem, and we've just been talking about ways that they can kind of leverage all these integrations I think a big one is going to be this payment system. So
Yeah.
we haven't pushed that live to production yet, as you know, is being able to buy premium and creator subscriptions using Dash. But I've been testing it a lot, and I've kind of teased some screenshots. It is actually a really incredible flow. It feels like checking out, using Stripe or very commonly used checkout systems. But you literally can use any crypto that's on Maya. So obviously Dash being one of them. And if you're connected with Keystore, you literally click like 2 buttons, and as long as you have obviously the $10 in your wallet, you can just select Dash and then click checkout, and then it sends your Dash through LeoDex and converts it, and then we can accept payments. So what we did was we already accept payments on Hive in the form of HBD. So right now you can only pay with HBD, which is a very low cap coin in terms of usage. I think there's probably only 10 million HBD that are out there, and it's a stable coin, so it's very, very low in terms of usage and availability. And now you'll be able to literally just say I want to pay with Dash. It does $10 worth of Dash, and what it's doing is it's swapping the Dash to HBD using LeoDex, and then depositing the HBD into the account that we've already built to accept HBD payments for premium. So on our end, nothing actually changed in order to accept payments other than the fact that we built the payment rail. So if another project like Splinterlands, for example, sells packs for, just call it $10, per pack, they could actually use our checkout system to accept Dash for packs. And for them, it wouldn't actually change anything, because they already accept Hive and HBD. So they could literally just say, okay, we want to accept, Hive, and then they just have to build a system to read those Hive payouts or payments. And our system is just automatically converting it to Hive, which is something they already know. So it's kind of like, those crypto payment processors that have built the ability for like Web2 or brick and mortar businesses to accept payments, because what they're doing is the payment platform is the one accepting the crypto. Bless you. And then they're converting it on the back end to cash or dollars or whatever the end business wants to receive. So
Yeah.
I think I muted myself for a second. Anyone on Hive that accepts crypto, Hive or HBD crypto, can accept anything that our new payment rail does, because it'll just automatically convert it for them. So I think we should integrate with every Hive project that's accepting payments right now.
Oops, sorry. I did not get to the mute button for the podcast time on that one, so just a lot of sneezing. One thing, really quick, if we wouldn't mind changing links for a second, because Brave limits you to 4 people, and I didn't realize that, so I'm sending a Jitsi link instead. So we'll just migrate on over, and then, because Hilawi's trying to join, and I'm never going to say no to Hilawi. So here we go. So I sent.
Okay.
I think I sent everyone the link. Just jump into the link, and then we'll see you in just a second. I'm going to go back to the waiting screen for everyone else in the meantime. All right. Successfully swapped out. We lost Cal in the process, but he might pop in to say hi. But yeah, joined by the one and only Hilawi. How's it going, man?
All right.
Yeah.
Happy Dash New Year.
Yep. Happy Dashy New Year. Obviously, everyone watching the show should be very familiar with them by now, but Hilawi's an old school ride or die in the ecosystem. Was part of the Dash Trust and some other things, and yeah, always around, always a good time. Also a staple of the after party, which for those who don't know the legends, I guess, ever since we've been doing these podcasts for many years, there's been sort of like an after party hangout, kind of like this, but not broadcast. And yeah, it's been going on for a long time. This time we're doing it on X live, so we get to do an X space, hang out, let all kinds of weird people drift on in. I know last what I did for like the non-Dash podcast last week, and Amir Taki floated in and started chatting about some stuff. That was kind of fun. So yeah, maybe we'll have a nice lively one. But yeah, we're just rambling about the onboarding process through like Inleo, etc., and how to get people to earn their first Dash. I think that's a cool thing. So Hilawi, do you have kind of the only agenda item we kind of asked everyone? What's the biggest thing that stuck out that they're grateful for that happened this year in particular, like one specific thing?
I think we all know. I think we all know what I'm going to say. It's definitely Evo platform.
When
Evo. I made so many emojis of all kinds of wins.
Yes.
But when Evo was the most popular, for sure. So, yeah, just glad to get that through. And we actually have a accountable marketing thanks to you, Marina. So we've been very happy. I've been very happy with that. Of course, one of the best examples is with Enleo at the call here. So.
Yeah, it's a new glorious age. It is kind of
sorry guys, preparing New Year's cookies, so that's why I have to go in and out, and so yeah. Thank you, Hilawi, for kind words, and yeah. We've done many things over this year, and hopefully we'll be doing more next year and the year after. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and the other part is just how many dev proposals there are in the treasury. So that's been great, and Mikhail is one of those people as well. So he and his team have done a lot and continue to do a lot. So just want to see more good work. I think we usually just had one dev outfit traditionally, so it's nice to see a lot more.
Yeah, and there's more stuff coming as well. So obviously having the Dash core team sort of become more independent from each other, so the core and platform sides of things are a little bit, even though they're under the same umbrella, they act a little bit more independently. And then having the incubator work into different pieces as well, that works out quite well as well. And then there's the super secret side project I've been working on, is the Dash privacy overhaul. And there's haven't really spoken about it very much publicly. I've kind of thrown crumbs here or there, but I've been working on a project, and I got a nonprofit to agree to fund privacy improvements for Dash. And so there's a couple of developers we have working on that right now, starting with a Dash improvement proposal, a DIP. And yeah, we're seeing how that and so basically, hopefully for the new year, we get like 6 months of full-time dev work already covered, already funded to go do this. And I think that it is an interesting time because like it also seems to be sort of the same type of situation with Hive, where both blockchains, both communities seem to have bottomed and are just bouncing off the bottom now. Like that's the way back to the top. I mean, both been through a lot of hard stuff, a lot of rough years, a lot of things like that. but then just the sheer amount of things where, like, coming into 2024, we didn't have Evolution, and it wasn't about to launch like immediately. It was like, okay, whatever. And we didn't have any good Block Explorer API or whatever to recommend for people to recognize instance end transactions, for example. We didn't have that. We didn't have any good merchant tools, or we had a few, but nothing. We didn't have like that full suite of like, this is just an open source tool, works for everyone. This is for like a regulated one for the European region. This is a regulated one for the US region. We didn't have that just set up. We didn't have obviously we didn't have the privacy features in anything other than the full node core wallet, which is crazy if you think about it. It was in Electrum. I don't remember exactly when Electrum got fixed up. Mikhail would know that. When did you get it working again?
Well, it was exactly 1 year ago. I think
There you go.
Yeah, or maybe in the start of the something like that, a year ago.
Yeah. So there you go. So, and then now we have that in the mobile wallets. Obviously, the Inleo integration is a great first step into the greater Hive stuff and a great onboarding tool. We have Evolution now. We have all kinds of cool stuff, and we're working on the privacy improvements. It could be Dash at the end of 2025 could be completely unrecognizable from the end of 2023 in terms of like where we're at with things. And that's kind of the way we're heading. And hopefully it seems like that is one thing that got me wanting to do more work with the Hive ecosystem too, is kind of a similar vibe where I remember Steam, I used Hive after the fork, and then kind of a lot of the Hive things sort of look the same or act the same as back then, but then there's a few signs of life of like, obviously Inleo's like, it looks like a proper social media platform and not like some janky ass, whatever it is, like, write your own CSS, whatever. Like it does. And then the VSC team, seeing what they've been trying to do with the whole cross-chain bridging of Hive and connecting to different ecosystems. And then the Distrator team with the whole pay people to onboard merchants and go spend at merchants thing. We've been working with them trying to get something going with the Dash partnership there too. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is like, these are all cool ideas. Like this looks like signs of life. This doesn't look like signs of like death. It looks like back on the way up. And I don't price chart almost anything, but the Hive price has done relatively well recently. Maybe not in the last 24 hours, but in the last 3 months, it like almost tripled or something. So that's nice. Maybe that's they saw all the Inleo onboardings and stuff. And so same thing with the Dash price. I mean, I remember it was like, because I was having to price in proposals and things, it was like $25 or something, just awful. And then it went up to like 70, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. And we're not quite there right at the moment, but it's goal is to get it to, well, if we could do that, but the goal would be to get it to like 500 by the end of next year, just to show a year-on-year growth, kind of get that whole thing moving again. So that should be very kind of doable, I would hope.
Definitely possible. Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we've seen oh, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, we've just seen like a huge surge in users. So, and obviously all those users being for Hive, being onboarded through the key store integration and, earning in Dash, they all still have full Hive accounts. So I think prior to, at the start of 2024, Hive had something on the order of like 15 to 20,000 monthly active users in total. And Inleo accounted for, like a fourth of that. And I'm excited to kind of post the numbers as we go into the new year. But now Inleo has, about 14,000 monthly active users on our own. So yeah, it's been a really good year for Inleo, for Dash, and for Hive. So we need to definitely take a good victory lap. On January 1st, I'm kind of planning some content about that because, yeah, exactly. Pop some champagne, because people tend to not notice those things necessarily unless you talk about them.
Yeah, you got to toot your own horn sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we're looking at like the whole space and everything, and then the Evolution chain launched, and basically other than like the mobile wallets, there's not many like customer facing things that use it yet. Despite all that, just from the community trying it out and doing different things and processing withdrawals and voting on usernames and using all the other tools, we got to almost like 2,000 transactions in a day, I think, on the new chain, which is nice, especially considering that's kind of more than what the entire Zcash blockchain does every day. So, or at least right now. I mean, they've been working on some adoption moves, but at some point, hopefully, both Dash chains should keep on growing, and I hope to see, those numbers start to eclipse a lot of other chains in the new year. But that's the thing, is like the wallet with the usernames and contact lists, as of right now that I've been testing it, it works very smooth and nice. And if we can just have products like that and then just get them in the hands of people, I think that we could be in a great spot. The biggest thing is I would really like to see the username and contact list system start to be used by some other big apps that aren't Dash exclusive, that they use that for the rest of their things, like a multi-coin wallet, get something like Edge or Trust Wallet or something to do that. And I mean, obviously Trust Wallet's is a very big fish, and we're not talking to them yet, but like something like that, I think we'll keep on, especially once we have the SDKs out, making everything easy. Hammer on that, just try to get all those apps, and yeah, there you go. Just try to get everyone using it, and then eventually everything could run on Dash, and that's kind of the way we do things. I mean, everything that doesn't run on Hive, I should say, should run on Dash, because the Hive free the resource credit system, the free transactions on chain, the built-in monetization through the creator rewards and stuff that, like, I don't think we should try to do anything like that on Dash, at least, not for a while. So everyone uses the chains for what they're best at. And yeah, things all work out.
On the Dash privacy front, really excited about that. And
Yeah.
because there's a dip out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
once we get all those details kind of worked out, it should be exciting.
Yeah, and especially
Yeah,
since like I've been chatting with like a lawyer about all this stuff too, and getting some perspectives, like slipping in some questions about the privacy front. And I think that the picture, it was very scary for a while in crypto about what you can and can't do. No one really knew, just that, privacy bad, etc. And yeah, now things are a lot clearer about what are the risks associated with these things from a regulatory perspective. And it's always something you should know, because anyone who runs this kind of stuff, anyone who uses it, should kind of know their risk profile, even if the technology should be usable by anyone for any purpose. Who cares what any law anywhere says, which is also true. So yeah, it's just that I know that there's a lot of people who had like delisting fatigue in the Dash world, and hopefully everything works out, great in the future. We don't have any issues. I think we're kind of in a good spot. Let me check the live chats, make sure I haven't missed anything too great. Ryan Gull says hi. I'll probably pretty soon end this and migrate to the after party at X Space. Now that we got a nice, kind of got it started here, nice energetic show, nice broad-based group of people, and yeah. What's the thing that you're most excited about in 2025 that's hopefully upcoming? Why don't we go around the room and see what we're looking forward to?
Well, I really hope for the SDK so we can finally start building. And we have really a lot of ideas, but they all like kind of blocked right now on the mainnet SDK, which is not available right now. We can test in the testnet though, so that's what we are doing already. Yeah, but there are really a lot of work, and yeah, and having SDK will be really satisfying for all of the developers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same with SDK. We've been on it for a while now. The other thing is the iOS wallet, trying to get that working with usernames.
Mhm.
That would be a big one. At least we have it with Android. I mean, and I've got an Android phone.
Yeah, I'm also waiting for iOS app too.
Yeah.
And all my friends also have iPhones. So
Yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, making more progress on dApps. I mean, after the SDK, just seeing more examples. So
Yeah, there's some push, like a push to get the iOS version with CoinJoin in it by the end of the year. It's probably not going to happen today and tomorrow, but we'll see. Otherwise, very soon. And then January or February for the usernames, I guess. That's something I really hope we get to speed up a lot is the mobile wallet development, but of course iOS in particular, because there's a giant laundry list of features and integrations building up to where you can start throwing them at people, start cramming that wallet full of all the goodies, and make it an actual like cool like super app, like one app that you just use for all your stuff. So I would love to get people to just sign up to Inleo and use their seed phrase to recover the Dash wallet, and then that's all they use for crypto. They just like use Inleo for all their shit posting, whatever, and then the Dash wallet is just all they need to like hold and use their funds, and all the integrations are right in there, and that's all you need. That's kind of the goal by the end of the next year. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and to give something I'm excited about related to Dash especially would be like what you just said, which is really to round out the economy of kind of both of our ecosystems, which is I think we've really succeeded in terms of allowing people to earn and giving them a way to not really earn a paycheck, but essentially do the same concept of that on Web3. And you guys have done an amazing job with payments and privacy, and it sounds like there's a lot of exciting new use cases and tools that are coming in terms of being able to leverage Dash in the real world. So yeah, I would also love to see that. I would love to see a world where we onboard people with Keystore, and like I said, we've done thousands of onboards since the Dash integration. So I love that idea of like onboard them with Keystore, have them recover to Dash so that the Dash wallet part gets set up as well, and then they're earning on one side and they're spending on another, and the economy of it is extremely rounded. I think that's just kind of an exciting future, which is Joel is already unbanked, so let's get more people like Joel.
Yeah, that's it's, and as like I've written a bunch of articles and done some videos and stuff on how to do that, and it's a process. It's like a patchwork of different services and things, and it would be great if I could just say download and use this one app and you're done. I just life, and to a certain extent I think that's one of the lessons we can learn from Bitcoin is Bitcoin pivoted to, something that I'm not nearly as much of a fan of because I like freedom money, I like digital cash, but it's a much simpler thing to get people involved in, which is you buy it, and that's it. Go to Coinbase, go to Kraken, go to Binance, go to, don't go to Swan, but whatever. Go to any of these things, put some of your dirty fiat in, which everyone has, and then you have Bitcoin, and there you go. You used it. It's gonna go up. There you go. It's just so easy, and then like the Hive ecosystem really could have done, I think, much better than it has because of the simplicity of you start an account and you start using it, and there you go. Now, as a Hive user since a long time ago, and way well before there was any inklings of the Dash thing, the key management thing is a big pain in the ass. As far as like you create a new Hive username, you got like 8 million different public posting key, private posting key, public memo key, private memo, and all this stuff. And there's no good way of like backing it up that I've found. Like when you just save it to encrypted text file or something, I don't know. It just juggling the key management is just a pain. And I think that with the key store login, which hopefully there's even better solutions in the future, but like for a key store login with Dash or any other kind of thing, it's also solves two big problems with the Hive ecosystem. One is just the key management, where now you just recovery phrase, there you go, that's it. Or you just open wallet file password, you're done. And now it's so much easier to like sign up and actually use Hive. But then also, like, what do you do with it when you get it? And obviously Distrator and some of the other projects are doing a great job trying to get Hive the Hive dollars as used in the real world. At the same time, just the level of adoption is just not quite at the Dash level in terms of like integrations and things like that, And so, yeah, there's a lot of good room for mutual growth there, and it's not just we work well together. It's like that key missing the just use this app vibe that we had. Both sides, both communities had that missing, and now it's there. It's just go click this button, do this, you're in, and you're out of the matrix.
Yep. Yeah, I think the key store integration was huge. Allowing people to and essentially what it's doing is, you already use a key store to have, a Dash wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, an Ethereum wallet, all wrapped into one. And it's using obviously the seed phrase to create those private keys. And what we essentially just did was, okay, let's use that seed phrase to create Hive private keys. And now you don't need to download and manage Hive private keys. You just download one key store and it also has Hive. It has all those other wallets, and then it has those Hive private keys derived from the same key store. So that kind of simple change was like a step function in allowing people to use Hive in an easy way, because it is, Hive has probably the most unique keys in the industry, which is a double-edged sword, because it can give you a lot of privacy if you know how to use them. But it's also, a lot of, or not a lot of privacy, a lot of security if you know how to use them. But it also, creates a really confusing scenario for the new user who, they've got 6 different keys and they have no idea what each one does. And honestly, the names of those keys aren't even very good. So the key store integration really, really solved that problem. So yeah, I'm excited to see that these two economies kind of come together. I think it's already kind of started, and we're just in the initial phase of it. But yeah, with that, I got to jump to a team meeting to actually talk about Dash payments and when we're gonna roll out premium payments. So
cool.
So it was really nice to meet all you guys, and nice to see you again, Joel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to jump back on next time you guys do this.
Yep. Happy New Year, and thanks for all the good work, and have a great next year for sure.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, guys.
Happy New Year. See you guys. Have a good show.
Cool. Well, yeah, it's probably going to be a good time to start winding it down. About 45 minutes from now, there's a space on X, the after party that anyone can join that we're going to do. And maybe a good time for like a bathroom break, maybe a little snack, something like that. And then, yeah, get things going. But yeah, everyone, thanks for jumping on. This has been a good show. Wanted to have Sam on, but he wanted to go chase after a couple of brewskis in the meantime. But hopefully we can get him in the after party. But yeah, it's been a wild year for sure, and it's a completely different year from completely different end than beginning. It was a lot of work that went into this year, and we're looking forward to some good stuff coming up. Yeah. Any
Yep.
last words, guys?
Well, happy New Year and happy Dash upcoming year.
Yeah. To a great 2025.
Absolutely. Cheers,
Yeah.
guys.
Wish you
Cheers.
guys have to have more wish for us that we have more activities, more partnerships, more engagement, more user acquisition. And that's very vital for us, for the community. So yeah, let's keep on growing together, and let's hope that Dash will strike back in 2025.
Absolutely.
And I wish everyone happiness and greet and celebrate New Year with their friends and families, and happiness to everyone.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. Thanks everyone for being on. Thanks everyone for watching. And I'm gonna drop in the live chats the after party link.
Awesome.
And yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool.
Good seeing you guys. Peace. Happy New Year. And yeah, see
Yeah.
you next year.
Happy New Year.
See ya.